How would you like to manifest quantum abundance? Diana Divine will tell us how to do it. And what's so special about Diana is she's a galactic shaman, founder of the Source Language Institute, and author of Mastering Quantum Creation, Awaken the Phoenix Within. Manifest your reality and reclaim your cosmic power. So, Diana, tell us about manifesting quantum abundance. How can someone align with the right timeline so they can do it? Or what is required for someone to manifest quantum abundance?
Manifestation Empress podcast with Lily Patrascu shares manifestation strategies to live your dream life.
That was a great question. Thank you so much, Lily, for having me on and talk about this topic of quantum. So first of all, I want to break down what is quantum, right? So it's a very kind of sexy word that's used out there a lot, and a lot of people getting confused. So we know about quantum physics, quantum mechanics. So essentially, quantum is nature of reality. It's really all the energy that's around us that beyond our eyesight, and the spectrum of the vision can only see so much. So the science is finally starting to catch up with what, many of us kind of more in the energy field, we feel the energy, right? Some probably see it too. And so it's starting to explain some of the phenomena, right? So when it comes to manifestation, manifestation has different type of terminologies. I also like the word creation. So when we manifest or creating, there's always intentionality behind what we put into the world, right? So we can, for instance, it's like in the video game, right? So you can be just a player and not fully knowing what you're doing, or have a really good strategy about it. So if everything is a quantum field, and in this game, everything is a potentiality, right? It's a field of everything and nothing at the same time. So this is the energy. So for us to be amazing quantum manifestors, well, first of all, we have to recognize we are quantum ourselves. So we're not separate from the game. We just as much creating and involved in every step of our reality. So what happens when we talk about our daily life, right? So we drive into work, and let's say we have 9-to-5 job like most of us, and we're doing the same thing again and again. Well, what if, as someone who is understanding this concept of quantum, is starting to realize, there is details in between. There's other layers that maybe I was not paying attention to. And maybe I can take a new route today and not take the same route to work as I usually do. Maybe by taking a longer route, there's something might happen to me that will be different than my usual reality. So essentially, from quantum perspective, if we have this quantum field of information, it's like an ocean, right? And the ocean is many waves. So energy is like an ocean. So when we set our intention and we want to, manifest or attract, is the other word that people are saying, attract to ourselves. I don't like the word attract because it means the wave is just randomly there. We actually not just attracting, we creating a wave. So let's say in the morning you wake up and you're like, today it would be amazing to have a miracle that happens to me, right? And maybe this miracle is from abundance perspective. What is abundance, right? It can be the wealth, or maybe it's a connection. Maybe you meet an individual that will connect you to someone else, and then you get invited to a big conference and big summit. So you put your intention out there, and then you allow in the field of information to bring that to you, but you also put in the intention. So when you put in the intention out there, you also throw in this arrow into this field by constantly thinking about it. You also an emotional state that is very coherent, meaning let's say you go hunting, right? You want to catch an animal. You're not kind of all over the place. You're really coherent. You breathe in very synchronized way. Your brain is kind of quiet. You're not noisy in your mind. You're very set in what you want to create. And so in quantum physics, there's a terminologies of quantum superposition, meaning there's many particles that are simultaneously available in the same state. But if I'm putting intention and attention to just one particular particle, it starts building what's called in quantum standing wave. And eventually, the one that you're paying attention to the most, you're giving like fuel to that energy, and this wave starts building, and all other particles fall apart, and only that particular standing wave gets created. So I know I'm throwing a lot of concepts out there, but essentially what I want to bring this to this conversation is that we are consciously created. We are infinite creators. And if you just start from that place and you're like, I'm not a victim to circumstances, I'm actually very empowered, then it's amazing what you can actually create in your daily life, but even something bigger that you want to create in your life.
Thank you. Tell us what you mean by awaken the phoenix within, and how can awakening the phoenix within lead us towards our biggest manifestations?
Yeah, so phoenix assumes, so anyone that knows about the myth of the phoenix, right? Phoenix, it kind of is that beautiful bird that kind of resurrects itself from the ashes and becomes more powerful. So we are constantly in the resurrection process. So let's say the version of you that is today is not the version of you that was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. We go through these tests and I would say trials and errors of life. And each time there's a challenge, there is, upgrade that happens to your consciousness, because now you learn through the mistakes, you learn through the challenge, and you become stronger and more resilient. So when I'm talking about Awaken the Phoenix Within, I talk about this resurrection process where we embrace these challenges, when we actually reclaim our power, right? We reclaim this literally like a fire within ourselves, this spark and passion for life, when we embrace that understanding that we actually creators of our reality, right? So the things that happen to us, some good, maybe some not so good, we also create in our life. And then in the process of that, we actually learn from that experience. And it might have been really dark and challenging and seemed like, whether it's divorce, a car accident, whatever, these things usually happen for us to pay attention, for us to reclaim these, not to be like a zombie in the movie, but actually all of a sudden slow down and pay attention to what's happening. And that's the phoenix, right? The phoenix is not a process that just stops once. The phoenix within is something we recreate in our, experiences in life. And so I encourage everyone to be the phoenix. So draw from your experience and become more powerful, more resilient, and more conscious in your creation.
Thank you. How can someone, let's say, go from feeling relatively obsessed with their past, with a particular failure that they've had, whether it's a divorce, financial failure, or something else that they keep replaying in their mind? How can they come out of that loop and start manifesting? Because I've been in those situations where sometimes, let's say, you have like a big financial failure or, separation. And then you kind of keep replaying in your head the same and the same and the same. And I do remember that in those particular times, it's not that it's impossible to manifest what you want. And it's that a lot of times you could have hundreds of incredible things that come. But it's so hard to pay attention to those. It's almost like, oh, that doesn't matter that, this super amazing person wants to speak to me and wants to close this major deal. All I care about is my separation, and how can someone come out of that loop of failures and start really awakening this phoenix and start having that power, having not only a lot of opportunities, but being able to leverage those opportunities and being able to see those opportunities, being able to take them and then close the deals and take things to the end?
That's a great question, right? Many of us are stuck in these loops, and what it takes is well, the letting go process is a challenging process as a whole. We are beings that control our ego mind, and the ego wants to have predictability. The ego has hard time in surrendering. The ego has hard time in the unknown, right? The unknown is just something that's very arbitrary. So it likes very comfortable, like sandbox, when we were kids and we were playing sandbox and we had our tools and this is what we knew. And then when challenges occur, all of a sudden, we're thrown into the thresholds of this like unknown territory, and it's very frightening. So the first thing is really confronting the fear, confronting what is that is blocking us from moving forward, and finding the tools to work through it. Some it's therapist. I work with energy, so I do energy work with people. I help them clear their field, because a lot of these energies and traumas, we have to understand, sometimes they're ours from childhood. They are these blocks of energy that sit in our field. Sometimes it's actually even not ours. It could be from our ancestors. It's all programs that we run in our field, such as scarcity program. So we're replaying the scarcity program again and again. We're not learning from it. So really slowing down, starting to do new practices maybe that you've never tried before, such as meditation, such as breath work. There are different tools out there that can help you to connect deeper to yourself. And when you quiet your mind, in those moments, in a moment of peace, you are stepping out of that loop, because it's already proven scientifically what happens in the brain. There's certain parts of the brain where this looping, this broken record occurs. So if you actually do a breath work of 20 minutes, and for those who might not know about what breath work is, basically a rhythmic, constant breath. So you like inhaling through the nose, you might be exhaling through the mouth. There's different types of breath works out there. And what that helps, it's to quiet that part of amygdala, the type of our brain and default mode network where we are looping. So I would say go to those tools and start practicing. And it's something you build up. It's not something that, it's no magic pill that happens overnight. It's a practice. It's like going to the gym, and you start with 5-pounders and you start like building that, the muscle. And this is that type of muscle I'm talking about. And then the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And eventually you get to that place where you're not looping anymore. You know how to quiet your mind and to come to that neutral place where you're no longer reacting to life, but responding to life. And do you know the difference between reaction and response? Reaction is when something happens and you freak out, right? That fight and flight. Again, because of the programming, and you don't take even a minute to, pause and realize what is happening to you. You're just like quick to jump in or react emotionally. So emotional intelligence is very big part of this as well. Response means you actually take a step. You maybe step away from the person who triggered you or the situation. You take that deep breath. And then from a more neutral place, you respond back. So again, when you were talking about when things are going on, most likely you're not going to be able to manifest. Yes, because coherence of the field is off. When a person is reacting, they don't have emotional mastery. They are, from frequency perspective, in low frequency bandwidths. And those frequency bandwidths is very hard to manifest because it's like a radio station. So, like in the old days in the cars, we had that radio station and you would like have the static in between for those who remember our old radios. And then eventually you come to your station and it's like crystal clear. You can hear the music, everything is perfect. This is what we do. And so nothing is really wrong with us. We just we need to learn how to recalibrate, how to change the frequency station to the station that's just more clear. And so we have to do the work as well to get into that frequency. Because again, if our field is chaotic, we just can't even hear it. It's just, it's static, it's noise. And when we are clear, and now, like I said, through breath work, through meditation, our brain and our heart synchronizes, Then we in a much more peaceful state. And from there, we start seeing clearly. The looping, quiets down sometimes. And we're able to step out of the story. Oh, this has happened to me. Oh, I'm the victim. And more as an observer. So you become an observer of your story, and you're seeing your story from the side. And then you're like, you know what? That story doesn't serve me anymore. That's my old story. And now I'm ready to create a new story. And when you're ready to create your new story, that's when you start creating and manifesting that new story. Hope that explained.
Thank you. Tell us about spiritual language codes and how do those impact your ability to manifest?
The light language. So light language, if you never heard of what that is, and I call it source language, it's a type of channeling that I channel, and many people actually these days start awakening to it. And that happens, what's a channeling? Again, when we quiet down and we're able to sit in meditation and we're able to just allow sounds through, it helps to manifest because we're able to, with the sound, any sound we do, you know how we listen to like a nice music, we're able to just, again, quiet our field and get into the frequency where it's much more coherent. And then from that place, we can create the reality we want. So I channel it a lot. People get activated. It's a quantum language. It sounds weird. It sounds like gibberish, right? It's like, remember how we were kids and we were making all these crazy sounds and we're like, what was this? So it sounds a bit like that. It's not sort of earthly language, but it's multidimensional. So for those who are ready on the journey for that, that's wonderful. Not everyone is. I would say if you would just, listen to this for the first time and like, what is this girl talking about? I would say start with the basics. Start with the meditation. Start with the practice every morning. Start walking in your garden, in nature. Start doing walks early in the morning, like during the sunrise or sunset. Actually, during those times, talking about codes, the solar codes that are coming through are very powerful. They're very activating. So in the morning hours, the sun is still healthy, because otherwise I would never advise you to look at the sun. But there's a practice of sun gazing, or even if you don't look at it, just kind of bathing in it, our field gets activated and it quiets down. There's so many solar flashes happening these days. As you know, the solar activity is really powerful. So as you start tuning your body and your radio station also to the sun, you are becoming one with all of it, with the information that is basically the ocean of information that is the quantum field.
Thank you. I've heard a few people on market on social media light codes to manifest quantum wealth. And I'm not sure what that means, or how can someone use them to manifest quantum wealth?
Yeah, so because I'm a channeler, right? So if I were to set my intention for the group, and I don't know if you want that or not, the person would transmit these sounds for the intention of quantum wealth. And that just means they putting things into people's awareness and fields that just activates them, because we have all that information within us. It's actually encoded in our DNA. We are quantum. Remember, we are light. We have all these light particles within us. It's within our DNA. It's within the mitochondria. So we're not separate from nature. We're not separate from the cosmos. We are it. So again, going back into the quantum field, so these sounds are just activating something within you that connects you to the field itself. So that's what they're talking about. Hope that clarified.
Thank you. So it's the same thing, basically, the light codes as the spiritual language codes. It's the same thing.
Light language are the light codes, yes. And like I said, a lot of the codes are coming real time all the time right now with the solar activations that we're experiencing, because the sun and the cosmos is really active right now. So we are getting activated, whether you listen to them or not. You are constantly, getting upgraded right now. And some of you might feel like some days you're just very sluggish and things are just happening, even though you're doing the same things. especially these days, there's a lot of activity happening right now. So during those periods, that's just an indication things are happening in the cosmic field that affects you as well. And that's an upgraded. So all of that is, one way or another, it's not separated, it's interconnected.
Thank you. Tell us about 3 of your case studies of entrepreneurs who have manifested something, whether it was quantum wealth or something else that they have manifested with some of your methods, and what kind of methods or routines did they use to get there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one, I would say, maybe not entrepreneurial per se, but romantic relationships. Everyone wants one. Everyone wants to, find their partner. So, and I worked with some of my clients and my friends specifically on that, setting specific intentions, working with the field, doing some practices, and they have met their partner quite quickly. So they had to, again, shift their mentality, their mindset, get into a different frequency, not attracting or, again, being in the field with a lower frequency, and they kept on attracting the same men that didn't, were more toxic, and attracting or meeting the person or creating the opportunity to meet the right person that is in a higher vibration. So that's one example. In terms of wealth, I would say also someone wanted to, buy a house. And again, the housing market is difficult, and she had certain parameters of how the house needed to be. So we worked again a lot with the field. So the field has all the information and all these potentialities. So you just have to, again, tune your frequency, tune your radio station to where that house already exists, and the qualities of that house. And again, every morning do certain practices, certain visualizations, certain affirmations of like continue working with the field to have that created for you. And she was able to find the house, get it, and and live her kind of dream reality she wanted.
Wow, that is so interesting. What would you say most entrepreneurs make a mistake with when it comes to trying to manifest quantum wealth, or manifesting a partner, or manifesting something in general? Where would you say are the mistakes, or where are the energy leaks, or whatever else is stopping them from getting there?
Well, I think you already kind of nailed it earlier about, trying too hard first, right? When you're trying too hard and you're trying to control all of it, like you're not allowing the field, the universe to co-create with you. So you can put some of your intention, you can put some parameters, but there's also a level of detachment that needs to happen in the process where you experience surrender. And those that are not able to experience that and they want to control all the ingredients of the cake, this is where I think for a lot of them, it does not happen. Or they again, not working on their inner state of mind, and they still kind of in war, so they attract war. Versus if they in peace and they want to create something completely different, like not repeat the same patterns or not a relationship or whatever that might be. So as they choose to shift the story is shifting when they are ready for it. And there's just work that needs to happen. So you can't always, I think sometimes people want everything tomorrow. So I think the failure, I think, is an expectation that they don't need to do the work, and it just magically happens for them. And I think the magic is there when you invest into your own inner development and really start dreaming big and set certain parameters in what exactly you want to get, the clarity of what exactly you want to create. Because if you have paragraphs and pages of creation, it's just too much. You're not focusing your energy on the very specific things. So really getting clear on mission statement, on that creation, and having good sense of what it is. Even actually, it's good not to know exactly how it looks like, but have qualities of what that is and feeling, because the universe and the field understands through feelings, not so much through the logical mind, but more through how did this make you feel? And as you step into that state of, oh, this is making me feel good, this is making me feel like I'm at home, that creation is what will ultimately have the standing wave and win, and everything else from particle perspective will collapse. So all these timelines, they exist, right? Simultaneously. You can go left, you can go right. And so we're making choices all the time. So just know that you are making choices. Don't always think that, oh my God, if I'm turning left, I will never turn right. So don't be over judging, because that's, I think, another one. Judgment is a very low frequency, just like shame and guilt. So I think learning how to trust ourselves and really listen, it's so important in this process.
Thank you. Tell us, how can someone go from a low frequency into a high frequency? And the reason I ask you this is because I've been in situations where, like, for example, during university, I absolutely disliked what I was studying, and the teachers and the environment, like absolutely everything. At least the first year and the second year was absolutely horrendous. And I remember I was like so depressed. I just was just trying to live through the day. That was like my goal.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like I came to London, and even on the anticipation of coming to London, I just kind of like revived, it's almost like I had defrosted from this, almost like treading on water for like so many years at university. And then I was like, all of a sudden, like so vibrant, so energetic, more good looking, like even in London, like I felt desirable. Whereas, for example, in Romania, where I'm from, I didn't quite feel desirable, like so many model looking girls everywhere. It was hard to compete. And I find that, like when I'm in high frequency, when I'm feeling great, it's so easy for me to manifest. But I have like these long periods of time when it's like so hard to come out of that low frequency. It's not that I don't know it, but it's still like hard to come out of it until like something really drastic happens. So how would someone do that faster? How does someone come out of a low frequency into a higher frequency that allows them to manifest fast?
Yeah. So frequency is emotions, right? So it goes back to emotional mastery. And David Hawkins actually has what's called the map of consciousness. So he matches the emotions to different frequency levels. So when I was talking about shame and guilt, like if you look at his map, that's like the lowest. And then if you go to joy, to peace, to love, those are like, he has his own scale. So it goes higher and higher to this like, frequency of enlightenment, let's say, which is the highest. So how do you do that, right? First of all, you got to follow your joy. Everything in life has to be joyful. So if you feel this is hard and there's an effort you have to put in, then your frequency drops because, you just push in like this burden on your shoulders and it just doesn't feel fun. So you have to do things that really bring joy and this lightness of being. And that helps you to be in that joyful frequency, right? Love frequency, because everything you do is no longer a job per se. It's something you enjoy to do anyway. And then the compensations, the abundance, the wealth comes just with it. It's just something that's already part of who you are. So you want to find something that is exciting for you. So like what excites you to wake up in the morning, right? What change do you want to make in the world? Or maybe people you want to meet. So when you start experiencing that, I think everything recalibrates that way. But also kind of Lily, to what you said, like we have to acknowledge those moments where you don't feel joyful. It's, emotions are full spectrum, and that's part of the human experience on earth. We're here to feel everything from joy to shame to judgment and back, right? So full spectrum. And so recognition of the full spectrumness of us, the shadow and the light. So we're not like just putting pink glasses on and just, trying to ignore the shadows, the darkness. That's not the right way. We want to integrate them all. So sometimes you wake up in the morning and you're just groggy, right? You don't want to get out of bed and you want to stay in bed. So really listening and self-care, like maybe today is rainy in London and this is not my day to manifest or create. And today I'm actually going to lay low, read my book, and this is how my day is going to go. So really being loving to yourself, right? Really doing everything from that place of like, what serves me today? And tomorrow, the day might look very different. So we're constantly oscillating, but also knowing that we have the power to shift our emotional state. Meaning, if I woke up in the morning and I'm feeling groggy and crappy, by my choice alone, I can also switch it to more happy state. How do I do that? Again, going back to practices, right? Like I have certain practices that I do, whether it's meditation, guided meditation, or breath work, or maybe I'll just get up from bed, turn on my favorite song, and start dancing. Movement. I'm ecstatic dance teacher, so I'm always going back to dance because dance is our natural state. So just moving our body, right, and just moving energy in our field, we actually shift. So to get into high frequency, you have to move. You have to rub your hands. You have to like clap, clap, clap. You have to do all the things, shake it out, shake your whole body, move your head. That actually raises frequency. And from brainwave perspective, like when we sleep in, we're in delta, we're in low frequency. Theta dream state, 8 hertz to 4 hertz. When you and I just talking right now, right? We like in 15, 14, beta, alpha. Alpha is like when you're watching TV, you start dropping towards 10. But to manifest quick, we want to be in gamma, and gamma is 32 hertz. 32 hertz best achieved when you're moving quickly. So go for a run in the morning, or brisk walk, and see how your change of state is just like 360 degrees. It's not the same. All of a sudden you have that, energy in you, more excitement about life. That would be my best recommendation.
Thank you. One last thing. How does someone manifest when they feel trapped? What I mean is like when they feel like they have actually no choice. Imagine like, say you're with a husband that beats you up, and for the moment you don't have the money to move, and you see no choice but to stay there. And therefore you feel depressed, and you know why you're depressed, because it's like the whole situation is crappy.
Right.
What can someone do to manifest when they feel they have no choice but to cope with certain circumstances they feel cannot be changed right now?
That's a hard situation, and whoever's in that situation, I really feel for them, because no one wants to be trapped, right? And circumstances in life happen. So if you can't change someone else, all you can do, so instead of looking for external validation, start working on your internal state. So, again, going back to the wounds, right? Whether ancestral wounds or your own childhood wounds, for manifestation to happen, like I said, the field has to be activated, has to be clear. If there are blocks of energies in your field, it's hard, it's dense. So start finding ways of how you can, heal it, whether reaching out to a family member and having these conversations. Seek forgiveness, because through forgiveness, you actually, if you look at forgiveness on the charge of frequency, that is close. Forgiveness is close to gratitude. It's close to love. You start going up the scale. So, go through all the people in your life that maybe done you wrong, and start learning how to just say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And each one of them you can go through and see how the energy starts shifting, because you started opening the field to energy to come in. So as we clear, we have for manifestation to happen, as shaman, the first thing I actually do is clearings. Clearings are the first thing. Recalibration of the field, clearing the chakras, all that density, all program. And from that place, then we can activate. We can do activation without clearing, because there's no room, there's no container for all this new energy to come in.
Thank you. Tell us where entrepreneurs can connect with you and your programs.
Yes, thank you. I have a book, Mastering Quantum Creation. It's available on Amazon. You can find all the information on DianaDivine.com. It's actually spelled, it's DianaDivine.com. And I do free consultations as well. So if anyone is looking for like soul guidance and just trying to figure out where to go next and how to create and manifest. That's what I do. And that's how I'd like to spread this ripple of love into everyone's home, but also always remember, you're empowered. You have more choices than you think you do.
Follow me for more manifestation techniques.